Right, Lucy, you got some explaining to do. So, was it a good thing to go in and get Maduro? Yes. Did it take me a little time to really soak it up and process it? Yes. Why was it good? Well, for many reasons. Why do we have a $25 million bounty on his head? Why did Joe Biden up it from like 10 or 15 to 25 million if we weren't going to do anything about it? Number two, he flooded our country and invaded it with Tren de Aragua, never before here. In fact, many officials that are with DHS, Homeland Security at all, many of them didn't even know of and had never heard of Tren de Aragua. That is because Maduro, Nicolas Maduro, don't you love how they've been saying that? Nicolas, not Nicholas, Nicolas Maduro. Because Nicolas Maduro had flooded us in with Tren de Aragua. Yes, it's cocaine. It's not fentanyl. But listen to this. Did you know that Hezbollah is building Iranian drones there? Did you know that Hezbollah is training there? Did you know that Hamas is there? Did you know Iran is there? Did you know that China is there? The morning of, China was meeting with Nicolas Maduro before we snatched him. Did you know that Russia is there? This is the Monroe Doctrine. Some are calling it the Donroe Doctrine, which I'm totally fine with. It's the same thing with Noriega. Let's get into some of the details, but yes, I unequivocally support it. And now he's sitting in a cell with his wife, and they're going to go to jail for a long time. And that's exactly what should happen. Oh, I got the details, but I want to go do some more. Just jump into what I know, because it's too exciting for me. The CIA, with Trump, the CIA told Trump, listen, I know you want to get rid of the entire regime, but that's not good. Country will fall into chaos. The only way to do this is to remove Nicolas Maduro and leave the rest intact. The CIA had a lot of moles in there, including right in the upper echelon of the entire cabinet. And so what that meant was most likely the vice president, who's now in charge, at least for now, is she was in on it with us. And Trump went to her. And you're going to hear more. For example, Trump, this idea from the left that this is just some, rough shot, slip shot thing is total BS. 6 months earlier and all the way up till the week of, I believe, or 2 weeks of, Trump was courting Nicolas Maduro and saying, dude, well, you can be in luxury, you can retire in luxury in Turkey. We will not charge you with anything. We won't try to bag you and tag you. You can go live in exile and live off the wealth of the land. He refused over and over and over again. No problem. He never has been the elected president of Venezuela. Nobody. Listen, I think there's 47, some say 50 countries that recognize that he is not the president of Venezuela. He never was. He never won any elections. He overthrew the government. He is a dictator who was not elected. He took over after Hugo Chavez. By the way, have you seen these idiots in the street that are arguing with Venezuelans? It is the funniest thing in the world. These white liberal leftists wave Venezuelan flags and shout out that they want Maduro back in power. So it's just sick fools. And the Venezuelans screaming at them in their faces and saying, I'm from Venezuela, who are you, this and that. Let me tell you something. I've told you over the years I have in-laws. My dear father-in-law passed away. He lived in Miami along with his Venezuelan wife. She was born and raised there until she only came to the States about 25, 30 years ago as his wife. They did it legally and lawfully. Her children, I've told you this, but if you haven't caught this, her children, one by one, it took decades to get them here legally. I know them. I've met them. I was just with them in February of this year, or last year, I guess, less than a year ago. And we ate in their home in Doral, Florida, the largest population of Venezuelans, I believe, in the United States of America. We had just a delicious, awesome late breakfast with them. We talked for hours. We very much love them. And even though my father-in-law passed away in the spring, late spring, we are still close with Enriqueta is her name, and her family. And you've seen the reaction from Doral, Florida, which is the largest population of Venezuelans in this country. They're very happy. But her sons and daughters had to sleep on the frickin' floor of their home in Georgia before they moved to Miami several years ago because there was nowhere for them to go. They work jobs that are nothing, making crap money, even though they're freaking engineers, lawyers, all sorts of stuff. When we had that massive 30 or 100 and some odd car pile up in Fort Worth, Texas, in Dallas, Fort Worth, where I'm at from like 3-4 years ago in a winter storm, one of the people that was killed, I think 5 or 6 people died. One of them was a Venezuelan woman who was a freaking dentist. You know what she does here until she passed away? She cleaned toilets. The Venezuelans are the best freaking people in the world. I love them dearly. They love this country. They hate communism. They hate socialism. They hate everything that Mandani stands for, and Cuba and all that stuff. Cuba's spy and intelligence operatives are like some of the best. They ran Nicolas Maduro's spying. They were his security. Dozens of Cubanos were killed protecting Nicolas Maduro when we went in and got him. What a brilliant operation. What an amazing thing that we did there. Let me dig into my notes now. Those are just spontaneous stuff. But 6 months before, this is from the Wall Street Journal, Trump was skeptical of ousting Maduro. He was skeptical of doing it until he wasn't. The Journal says in a report, 6 months before he sent folks in to take Maduro, he over and over again quoted him, said, dude, come on, let's go. I'll get you out of here. You'll be fine. It won't prosecute you. Anyway, he decided in favor of military action, fed up with the repeated denial of Trump's request to go off and live in Turkey, for example, is one of the ones, maybe Russia as well, and be rich and be a retired dictator. On December 23rd, Maduro rejected what he didn't know would be his final offer to leave, reports the Wall Street Journal. Over and over again, Trump quoted him. Trump doesn't want to send in troops. Trump doesn't want to risk life and exercise the military. Oh, by the way, one of the most brilliant and coolest things that stuck in my head that I don't ever want to lose because I think I can apply it to my life and you should apply it to yours. The soldiers, General Raising Cane, I believe it was, said, we didn't train them so they wouldn't make a mistake. We trained them over and over and over again so they couldn't make a mistake. There was no other alternative but to not make a mistake because, so in other words, the training was so insane and over and over again, ad infinitum, to the point where they literally couldn't make a mistake because that's all they knew. They, as usual, they recreated a house like they did with Osama bin Laden. They recreated his house and I should say the compound of, did you like that? Akbar! Saddam Hussein. They recreated the compound and the military base that we went into. It was just brilliant. The CIA, this is a second article from the Wall Street Journal. CIA concluded the regime loyalists were the best place to lead Venezuela after Maduro. So in other words, the idea that we should take out the entire regime, the CIA said no, because you'll have chaos, because none of the opposition leaders, the last guy that was elected as the duly elected president was in 2024. Maria Corina Machado, by the way, while she was elected dutifully, she would not work. They worked with her behind the scenes for months. Rick Grinnell, a top Trump official who was in the last administration, the first openly gay cabinet member of any cabinet. Remember that when the left tells you that Trump hates gays, that's a lie. But Rick Grinnell met with her time and time again, and she literally was not working with anything. She wanted to do things her ways that were literally the opposite of how it would work. She wasn't cooperating. She was blowing off meetings. So she was out. There was a different guy who won in 2024. But anyways, there's nothing on the ground to start a new administration. So what they're going to do, as you know, is run the administration through the vice president, Delcy Rodriguez, and everybody in there knows they're going to get their head thwacked or get bagged and tagged if they don't work with Trump and us. Anyways, the assessment, they're going to have elections, probably 6 months, I don't know what, 6 months, a year, maybe less. They'll have elections, and then they'll install the new government. But these people have a choice. We can tag and bag you just like we did Maduro, because the entire administration at the top has been indicted and can go to New York to face justice if the Trump administration wants them to. The assessment influenced President Trump's decision, the CIA assessment saying take Nicolas Maduro, but not the rest, and leave Machado Delcy Rodriguez in power as the vice president. The assessment influenced President Trump's decision, reports the Journal, to back Rodriguez over opposition leader Maria Corina Machado after Maduro's capture. The report concluded the opposition figures like Machado would struggle to gain legitimacy and face resistance from pro-regime security forces. So you'd have an internal war, chaos, and then Trump would be blamed for just a disaster, a la Libya, a la Muammar Gaddafi. The one thing former President Hussein Obama said he wishes he could do over, and he said it was a mistake. This coming in from reports, and this is the thing I was telling you about. Hezbollah, Hamas, Iran, China, Russia, all in our backyard in Venezuela. That ends now. The U.S. allegedly struck a facility in or near the port of Maracaibo linked to the assembly of Iranian drones. They were assembling Iranian drones to kill us and our allies, whether it be Ukraine or Israel. The U.S. allegedly struck a facility in or near the port city of Maracaibo linked to the assembly of Iranian drones. Hezbollah was responsible for setting up domestic assembly for Iranian-designed drones such as the ANSU-100 at Maracaibo. Hezbollah operatives provided the expertise needed to weaponize these drones. Hezbollah also ran a Margarita Island facility which served as Hezbollah's most critical operational base in the entire Western Hemisphere. You got it? Most critical operation base for Hezbollah was in Venezuela. The facility was a hub for document forgery, allowing operatives to obtain Venezuelan identification and travel throughout Latin America undetected. Hezbollah is literally pumping out fake IDs that are Venezuelan-made, Venezuelan IDs. And you could have a Middle Eastern person perhaps obviously mistaken for somebody who's Venezuelan or of dark skin color, although Venezuelans are very light-skinned. I should know, they're in my family. There was a paramilitary training center also on the island, Margarita Island. The facility was also a consequential money laundering operation. So, I mean, this is a total terrorist operation. China, Russia, etc., Iran. I mean, it's incredible. And thank God we got them out. And by the way, Mexico's crapping their pants. President Sheinbaum is crapping her pants, and she better be. I'll get into that in a moment. Also, Chinese defense systems failed Maduro. Chinese oil supplies are compromised. Chinese commitments in the America are in shambles. Here's from Bloomberg. That's from commentator Michael Lucci. Bloomberg. Taiwan officials see Donald Trump's capture of Venezuela's leader as a powerful deterrent to Beijing's aggression and timely reminder of the U.S. ability to defeat militaries equipped with Chinese-made weapons. Amen. Boom. Now, does this qualify, and I want to caveat this is also from the Wall Street Journal, this is an editorial from the Journal. Does this qualify as U.S. defense against the Venezuelan regime's drug smuggling and U.S. migration as a weapon? Yes. They used illegal immigration as a weapon to cause chaos and hurt our country. That alone deserves a thwack the leader, to remove him, cut the head of the snake off. Are you kidding me? Hundreds of thousands of Venezuelan illegals, many of whom Tren de Aragua, who are raping, murdering, beating, killing Laken Riley and others. The U.S. also claimed, and Jocelyn Nungre in Houston, the U.S. also claimed self-defense as grounds to arrest Panamanian dictator Manuel Noriega in 1989. Here we go. From columnist Joshua Trevino in the Wall Street Journal as well. Mexico is acting like an adversary to the U.S. Yes, they are. Those effing narco-terrorists in Mexico, the cartels, have the Chinese working with them is old news. The Chinese have had their daughters married to the cartels into the cartel families for like 20 years. This is nothing new. This is old. What's getting really old is, why haven't we cut the head of the snake off there? Why haven't we bombed their massive super labs that make fentanyl that are killing our people? I am so angry. And what's her name in Mexico? Sheinbaum. She is useless. She's got a hand shoved up her rump. and she's a puppet of the cartels. Absolutely. Let me read a little bit from this column in the Wall Street Journal. Rubio said, "What we see in Mexico is what we see in Mexico's condemnations of Trump for what he did. Mexico is condemning what Trump did in Venezuela. They're on the side of dictators who are pumping cocaine into our country and are siding with Iran, China, our enemies in our hemisphere. What we see in Mexico's condemnations of Trump and the U.S. is real Mexican policy and real worldview of Morena." The Morena Party is what this columnist Joshua Trevino is writing about. The Morena Party is the party that runs Mexico with Sheinbaum as the leader. So what we're seeing here in Mexico's condemnations of Trump and the U.S. is real Mexican policy and the worldview of the Morena Party. For years, Mexico has been an indirect supporter of the Cuban communist regime. By the way, Cuba will fall eventually. Cuba literally cannot live and sustain and survive without that oil that comes from Venezuela. It's over. They're going to collapse. Can you imagine if our dear brothers and sisters, Cubanos in Florida, where their mass population is in Miami, and all over this country, our Senator Ted Cruz, can you imagine, Rafael Cruz, his dad, can you imagine what the Cubans will be doing if they can get this communist regime out after 60-some-odd years? My gosh. Pray to God that it happens. Pray to him. Pray to our almighty God. The suffering there is just so filthy and disgusting. And, it's comical. Because we're in a first world, it's comical. I'm not going to say it's sad, but it's comical that Zoran Mandani is the mayor of New York. The man is clowning himself. And I'll be playing you some audio of his housing director who says that it's white racism or something to have property, while her mom lives in a $1.4 million mansion in where she teaches at Vanderbilt. She doesn't say anything about her mom's white supremacy by owning a $1.5 million home. But it's comical because I think that Mandani is going to be a disaster as I sit here today after the first week of his administration, and I think this is all emblematic. That falls, communism falls there, and socialism falls there. Well, this guy is there; he falls on his butt there too. Also, Mexico invited Russian and Chinese soldiers, getting back to Mexico, and how they are now our friend, and we need to bomb their super labs, their narco super labs. That's where all the fentanyl's coming from, man. That's where it's all the precursor chemicals from China are getting mixed in there. Blow them up and kill those terrorists. Why haven't we done it yet? I am so mad. We control those bleepity bleeps in Mexico enough. We can do this, and we must do this. In our backyard, they're killing us. They also rescued leftist Bolivian autocrat Evo Morales, Mexican party, the Moreno Party. So they're inviting Russian and Chinese soldiers. They're rescuing leftist Bolivian autocrats. They're directing Mexican consulates in the U.S. to help Mexican illegal aliens evade American law enforcement. They are not our friends. They are not our allies, to the point where you would think. And if they won't do what we need to do, which they won't, freaking take this out. Take these narco terrorists out, please. Please, Mr. Trump, bomb them. Do a raid in there. It's going to be so easy there compared to here. Venezuela, excuse me. And then, a little bit more. This is from Breitbart. Mexican president doubles down in rejection of Trump's arrest of Maduro, blames U.S. for her country's cartel problems. You bleep. President Sheinbaum from Mexico said, Mexico reaffirms a principle that's not new and historic, rejecting the intervention in other countries' affairs. Yeah, like your fentanyl and your stash houses and your illegals in my country. You're messing with our affairs, period. The comments by Sheinbaum, Breitbart reports, come after Trump made statements claiming cartels are the true rulers of Mexico and not the government. That's exactly right. Trump said that despite the efforts to work together and have the U.S. take direct action on the cartel, Sheinbaum was too afraid of them and that he would look into doing something about it. Let's go. Let's go. That's what I say. Let's party. All right? And then this from Politico today. The Politico. Mexico should indeed be concerned. Trump's threats rattle Mexican officials and businesses. Here's what they're talking about. Trump's rhetoric. Washington may have to do, quote, do something about cartels that are running Mexico, is reviving fears in Mexico City. You should be afraid. We better be coming. I want to say we're coming, but I don't know. I hope we are. One Mexican business official said the initial reaction of Mexico to what we did in Venezuela was tagging and bagging Maduro. They literally pulled the Venezuelan president out of his bed, and now he's in New York. Quote, my God, that could be us. Yes. Yes. I think that's good enough for now. Let's go to our next thing here, because this is great. I'm going to read my own tweet, because sometimes my tweet can be better than me talking. Some people might prefer I just read my tweets. I don't know. Some people might prefer I don't tweet and I don't talk. Maybe my wife would be on that list. Okay. Oh, hold on. I have a picture for you. You want to laugh your butt off? Here we go. Look at this meme. My favorite meme of the week and possibly of the month. It took 6 minutes and 51 seconds for Will to give his gay speech in Stranger Things this season. It took only 6 minutes and 34 seconds to get Nicolas Maduro. I heard today it was 3 minutes. In other words, Will, his speech about being gay in the final season of Stranger Things was longer than it took to get Nicolas Maduro. Check that out, right? It's on my Twitter feed if you want to see it. Just scroll down and share it. Isn't that great? Let's look at that again. That's just too awesome to look at. Will's speech, longer. Will's gay speech, longer than getting Nicolas Maduro. Here's my tweet, because Dallas is screwed. Dallas downtown just lost AT&T, and you know that, and I know that. Here's how I tweeted it. Very accurate, very true. Congrats to our thin-skinned, fake Republican mayor of Dallas, who's never afraid to play the race card. What an accomplishment! Exclamation mark. That is exactly right. Our fake Republican, thin-skinned, always eager to play the race card when it suits him, Mayor Eric Johnson. Good job, Mayor. You lost AT&T. You know, I sit here. I fill in for Chicago. I fill in Chicago for radio a lot. I just did 5 days over the past 2 weeks, my hometown. And I'm just sitting here thinking about you, Mayor Eric Johnson, and you're kind of making me think about you in relation to the mayor of Chicago. You're kind of making me think about that. You and Brandon Johnson, you share last names, but you guys have a little bit in common. You are presiding over mass failures of the city. Companies leaving the city, like Citadel left Chicago a couple years back. It was a massive loss for them. Now, let's go to the editorials. But again, congratulations, Mayor Eric Johnson, fake Republican, race card player, thin-skinned. You lost AT&T. Good job. Yeah. Woo, yeah. This from the Dallas Morning News. They had a blistering editorial, and I loved it. Dallas City Hall, and this is all on you, Mayor Eric Johnson. Dallas City Hall and the rest of the City Hall, but Dallas City Hall helped Dallas lose AT&T. Yes, Dallas City Hall helped lose AT&T. Good job, guys. Quote, improved public safety in core business district came too late to keep telecom giant. You mean the homeless people defecating on, I think it was Carol Mendelssohn, one of the city council members, talked about a homeless person jumping up on the hood of her car and defecating on it. You mean the aggressive panhandling homeless people? You mean the people that are mentally ill that are not taken care of by perhaps being taken and put into custody and, put in a facility? You mean doing nothing about a chronic homeless population? You mean doing nothing about chronic offenders and violent people? Here we go from the Dallas Morning News editorial board. For too long, Dallas elected officials and city management refused to acknowledge that public safety and quality of life had declined to the point the central city felt dangerous and often was dangerous. Former city manager Teaser, where's Teaser? Teaser T.C. Broadnex, is he in Austin now? And former police chief Eddie Garcia didn't aggressively address the unpleasant and sometimes frightening behavior of some of the city's homeless population, and council members didn't push the issue. Where's the mayor? Sidewalk encampments became semi-permanent, and the stink of marijuana was unavoidable even during a short walk to lunch. The Dallas Morning News says we would know their offices are in downtown. My church is in downtown Dallas, as you know, First Baptist Dallas. Although I go on Sunday morning, so there's probably not much going on Sunday morning. The perception, well, I also don't go walking around. I park and go into my church. The perception was accompanied by too many actual incidents of assault, at times by suspects known to police and to homeless advocates as troubled individuals. In short, downtown felt neither safe nor inviting to office workers, visitors, or residents, and city staff and elected officials were unpardonably slow to respond to the issue. Deferred maintenance and functional obsolescence have left City Hall and its future City Hall's future unclear, writes the Dallas Morning News editorial board. The owners of the Dallas Mavericks and Dallas Stars are now agitating for new arenas in Dallas or beyond and seem expect significant public contributions to their cause. By the way, the Dallas Stars are looking in Plano. Wow. Many floors of downtown office towers are unoccupied today, writes the Dallas Morning News, and vacancy rates will increase as AT&T empties out. Hold on. Before AT&T announced they're leaving, I was on this show, on my podcast, I was telling you this. The Wall Street Journal reported just like a week ago, like last week, 27.7% vacancy rate in downtown Dallas. 27.7. It's among the worst in the country. Man, I do fear for what's going to happen down there. What won't help downtown, writes the editorial board, is defensiveness or mindless boosterism. Yeah, defensiveness. If you look up defensiveness, the definition of defensiveness, you can see, what's his name? Mayor Eric Johnson. I'll never get over that fake Republican. All right, here we go. A few more. This is from the Daily Mail. This is picked up internationally now. AT&T is the only company on Forbes' top 50 list that is based out of Dallas. Bye-bye. Locals blame AT&T's pullout on City Hall. That's exactly right. As local officials failed to correctly manage the downtown area, leading to public safety and quality of life issues. Murder was up 9%. Shoplifting up 22%. They'll tell you, whoa, well, family violence and individual robbery is down. Yeah, they're only down 3%. But murder is up 9%. Shoplifting is up nearly 22%. How is it that all these major cities, including in Chicago and New York, where they're talking about this, they're like, oh, look at crime's down, murders are down. We had the lowest amount of murders this past year under Trump. But yet Dallas is up. What does that tell you? The Daily Mail continues. Locals have complained about the total number of assaults, amounting to nearly 6,000 assaults, especially those committed by unhoused or mentally ill. You mean homeless and mentally ill. Yes. I'm going to tell you this. I had a cop. I think I've told you this story, but you got to hear it. If you haven't heard it, you'll want to hear it. My old radio station downtown, where the AAC is, and I'm walking down the street grabbing something to eat, and I talked to a cop who's directing traffic. He's not a Dallas cop. I can't remember. He's from the mid-cities somewhere, one of those cities. And he says, yeah, I do part-time work. You know how they do part-time work off duty. He's in his uniform, and he guards a vacant office tower. And the office tower is right at 635 and 75 area. It's by the Costco there. And he says right across the street from the office, or almost right across the street, is Richardson. Chris, he says there's nothing bad on the other side of the street in Richardson. It's all right here. The homelessness, the camping outdoors, the tents, the nuisance, and he says, Chris, there's so many bad people that show up to rip the copper and the pipes out of this office complex that's vacant. He goes, I literally wear paramilitary type clothes with the police have a SWAT type thing, a military type. He wears his AR-15 slung over with the sling, and because it's that bad. But he says right across the street in Richardson, nothing. That's Dallas, and that's why AT&T, one of the main reasons they left. Here we go. The nature of the company and work both have evolved significantly since we moved our headquarters to Dallas, says AT&T. But what hasn't changed is our belief and confidence in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex as the right place to thrive have a thriving multinational corporation. Yes, just not in Dallas. So the place for a thriving multinational corporation is not in Dallas. It's in DFW outside of Dallas. And here we go from the Daily Mail, a little bit more left. Mayor Eric Johnson and city manager Kimberly Beiser Tolbert tried to remain upbeat after the news. Yeah, let's see, where are they? Here we go. Yeah, they're trying to remain upbeat, huh? Quote, Mayor Johnson and city manager Tolbert said the cellular company was attracted to our city's unique economic strengths. Dallas has become a global powerhouse since then, says Johnson. Really? Then why do you have 27.7% unoccupied commercial real estate or office complexes? 27.7. You have more than a quarter of your offices empty in downtown Dallas. As much as we work to retain AT&T, says Mayor Eric Johnson and the city manager, it became clear that its current leaders preferred a large horizontal suburban campus. No, they prefer a large horizontal campus, not an up and down one. Nobody believes this bleep. This is such a load of bleep, such a load of crap. Neither mentioned how they thought this move would affect the economy, is what the article says. Of course they won't. I think that's about it. Oh, there's a few more people that are really upset that live in that work in the area, own their businesses. Others thought the building by AT&T was old and the area unsafe in terms of why they left. Reports, this is the Journal, I think. The owner of Ari's Pantry, a pantry in Italian market, says every time we lose a major commercial player downtown, it certainly doesn't help. All right, and then here we go from the Dallas Morning News. Plano leaders herald a major win in AT&T headquarters location. So Plano now has, not Dallas, not downtown Dallas, but Plano has Toyota of North America. I'm a big Toyota guy. Liberty Mutual, Capital One, Boeing, Frito-Lay, and PepsiCo. And what has Dallas done? Well, as I said, they lost the only, what was it, top 50, what was the exact title? It was a big title to have, and they lost it. It was the only top 50, here we go, Forbes top 50. They lost the one Forbes top 50 company they had in downtown Dallas. That's humiliating and embarrassing. And then, of course, they mention here that Dallas Stars are eyeing a new arena in Plano. Well played, guys. Well played. My gosh. What a legacy, Mayor Eric Johnson. State Fair of Texas. They're doubling down. I read a whole article here in the Dallas Morning News today. Quote, the State Fair of Texas priority for 2026 is to lower its prices. They're still pretending and lying and saying it's about their lowering their prices for the State Fair of Texas. I'm going to tell you right now, there's a reason they lost 400,000 people from the previous year. The State Fair of Texas amount of people that went through the gates, customers, they lost 400,000 customers from the previous year. And again, it's the price. It's the price. Let me tell you something. If you want to kick a Texan in the you-know-what, if you want to punch a Texan in the gut, you want to slap a Texan across the face, you take away our freaking guns, State Fair of Texas. They are super woke. And listen to this, because this is in the Dallas Morning News today, and they're still super woke. Let me just make this real clear. The State Fair of Texas its values are California. The State Fair of Texas is woke. The State Fair of Texas is the State Fair of California. They are not us. They despise our values in this state, particularly our pro-gun and anti-woke values. Let me give you the evidence further. First of all, look no further than the fact that they took away our guns after one thug, he was not a concealed carry permit holder. I am a concealed carry permit holder. If I have it here. I am a concealed carry permit holder. I'm proud. Here it is. I'll kind of redact part of it. There it is. That's my concealed carry, okay? I just renewed it. A thug who was illegally in possession of a weapon, he had no lawful right to have a weapon, went onto the State Fair of Texas campus, if you will, property, not their property, but you know what I mean. Went to the State Fair. Somebody rubbed him the wrong way. He pulled out a gun. He did what a thug does. He shot it up. After that, you know this, and I know this, the State Fair of Texas took away our ability to carry our weapons lawfully as concealed carry holders. They showed their true color, and they had their woke chick, a Karen, with her cowboy hat. Karen was having a press conference. I want to go home to my loved ones, just like you. So, in other words, what you're saying is people like me and you who carry our weapons lawfully, concealed carry holders, we're the threat. We are the threat. The State Fair of Texas views you and me as the threat. Now, a thug with a weapon illegally carrying it, he's not the threat. He'll still carry his weapon illegally. You watch. And they're going to have rent-a-cops and stuff like that. The whole thing is a ruse, and it's a hoax. Now, here's further proof that they despise us, and they are so woke, the State Fair of Texas. Ready? They're considering lowering prices and other measures to make the fair more affordable. It's not the affordability. Fair officials cited economic factors, a federal government shutdown. What? Was federal government shutdown? No, you took away our guns. Weather conditions, and here's how you know how woke they are. Immigration-related concerns. They literally think that because Trump was going after illegals, that's why people weren't going to the State Fair. These freaking people are woke. The State Fair is not us. It is not the State Fair of Texas. It is the State Fair of California. They literally are blaming Trump getting illegals as why people didn't show up. These people, I'm going to tell you right now, here's State Fair of Texas right here. That's what it's good for, okay? Fair officials cited economic factors, a federal government shutdown, weather conditions, immigration-related concerns as reason for the decline. Did they also blame Trump? It's Trump's fault that nobody showed up. During the 24-day run this season, they had 400,000 less than the previous year. Good. Biggest complaint was we just couldn't afford it, said a council member Adam Bazaldua. Yeah, isn't that in your district? Last time I checked, your district has the highest homicide rate. Bodies dropping the highest in your district, brother man. So here's what I wrote. It's right here for the State Fair of Texas. So woke. They are so woke. The most offensive thing to do to a Texan is to take away his right to carry a weapon. I will probably go nuts if I keep going on this, but you know how I feel. Don't go. That's my opinion. I'm not going. Okay, I got to tell you this story. I put an Instagram post or reel, whatever it is, I don't know. Go to my Instagram feed. It's at Chris Crock Show, ChrisKrock. I was sitting in my workout room on the other side of this wall. And all of a sudden, sweating like a dog, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden comes in my daughter's friend, and her parents are from the Dominican Republic. And we just start talking. I've met her mom. We like her mom. She's a sweetheart girl. We love her so much. She's like a very good friend of my daughter's. And her dad came in. I was like, oh my gosh, I've heard so much about him. He's a trucker. We just started talking. Everything I've told you about the illegals and trucking he is 120 million% right. He literally got out of trucking this past year because of the illegals. They have destroyed trucking. Number one, I've told you, they are killing us on the roads. Whether it be in Florida, killing 3 people according to the federal officials, whether it be in California, killing 3 people according to the officials, whether it be in Portland, Oregon, the week I was filling in Thanksgiving, and then Christmas time, a month later, it was revealed that, yes, that was an illegal to jackknife his truck and killed 2 people. They're killing us all over this country. We did a sting in the panhandle of Texas, and we got 30% of all the people that we pulled over that were truckers that we stopped were illegals. 33% of all people that were trucking through a county in Wyoming are illegals. Oklahoma did a sting, and on the first day they did it with the ICE, within 3 hours they had to shut it down. They got too many trucks. They had 7 trucks in 3 hours, so they didn't have any more room to hang on to them. They restarted it 3 days later with a massive lot, and they got 17 truckers. By the end of that week, all the illegal truckers were rerouting around Oklahoma. We are in for a horrific season with these illegals all through our trucking industry. My daughter's friend's father, we spoke a little Spanish because I speak Spanish, and DR speaks Spanish, obviously. He was born in the DR. He's a Marine. He served our country honorably for like 6 years. He was at Gitmo. He worked at Gitmo for a year. He said it was horrible. It sucked. But here's the thing. He said that they absolutely destroyed the trucking industry. They will have 10 illegals in one, 10 illegal Indians in one truck cabin, and they'll just keep rotating because you can drive. Whereas he goes and he can only drive 10 hours and has to stop. It's like the law. Also, they've tremendously depressed the wages, and as I've told you, they're killing people. So, also, I told him I was like getting goosebumps because I said, "Dude, I'm literally about to read this article that because I read just a couple days ago that illegals are also trucking narcotics across the country under the guise of being a trucker, and they're truckers. They're truckers, but they're doing anything they want." So here it is. I told him this just happened. Indian illegal alien truck drivers accused of smuggling 300 pounds of cocaine in Indiana. The red states like Indiana inspect and stop these truckers all the time. Thank God. Not Illinois, not California, not New York, and this guy had a California driver license. A pair of illegals from India, both given CDLs from the state of California, commercial driver licenses. 25-year-old illegal alien Gurpreet Singh and 30-year-old illegal alien Jasveer Singh, both from India, arrested in Putnam County, Indiana, charges of narcotics trafficking. These sons of bleeps. Going to put poison in our kids' veins, kill us on the roads, depress our trucker wages. Makes me so angry, especially since I met one in my home on the other side of this door a couple hours ago. Man, I love them. They're so filled with vivaciousness. There's something to be said about people. It's just that zing, that Dominican Republican zing, Latino zing. Anyway, these two illegals had more than 300 pounds of cocaine concealed in the sleeper berth of the semi-truck that they were allowed to operate after the state of California issued them both CDLs. I could put my fist through the wall over this, and I haven't lost anybody, but it's enraging to me. And I told my friend there, or my daughter's friend's father, I told my listeners, I said, every time you pull up next to a trucker on the highway, you're up next to him, and you look up and you nod, that could be somebody that'll kill your daughter or kill you. Not that they mean to, but they're going to kill us. It's enraging. Illegals destroy everything that they get involved in, which is why they are not good in this country. They are bad. They destroy, name the tuck pointing, construction, just name it and name it and name it. And they're putting people like you and me and people that we love, or people like my daughter's friend's father, out of work. Just freaking angering. Tampon Tim. I love this. Oh, what did I tell you about Tampon Tim? I told you for like 2 weeks now I've been saying he's going to resign. He's not going to... I told you, I didn't say he was going to resign from his current term. I said he was going to resign and or not do his third term. I said, you watch for 2 weeks. I've said it on the air when I filled in these past 2 weeks in Chicago. I said it in Portland, Oregon. I said it in San Antonio. I said it on network radio for 107 stations. I'm sure I'm missing some other ones. I feel for a lot of them. But that he's going to drop out of the third term. And he did. Now he's just crying and freaking out. This is so awesome. Here we go. This is Tim Walz freaking out. This is Dead Man Walking and panicking and freaking out and acting a fool because he knows he's Dead Man Walking.
Their idea of improving this state is being a parrot for Donald Trump, agreeing to everything that he agreed with. Well, here's what I'm going to tell you. It ain't happening. I'm not going anywhere. And you can make all your requests for me to resign over my dead body. Will that happen? I will fight this thing till the very end to make this state better.
This is him losing his S.
And the question that I think they need to decide is when did the guy in the White House resign? When does he take accountability for what he did? Because it isn't going to happen here in terms of us shying away from making this.
This is Tim Walz panicking and melting down in front of the world stage, in front of the media. It's priceless. Let's play 10 more seconds. I just got to hear it again.
Their idea of improving this state is being a parrot for Donald Trump, agreeing to everything that he agreed with. Well, here's what I'm going to tell you. It ain't happening. I'm not going anywhere. And you can make all your requests for me to resign over my dead body.
Dead man walking. He toast, y'all. He toast. And he just got subpoenaed. He just got subpoenaed now because the White House Judiciary Council, whatever it's called, House Judiciary Committee, whatever, they, James Comer, they invited him, but today they just subpoenaed him because it's so bad, and I think that's awesome. By the way, what's his name? Nick Shirley is now in Washington State. There's so much fraud there with the Somalis there. Excuse me. There's so much fraud there. This is just starting. Oh, let's hear. This is great. Let's flash back a little bit. Do you remember Mrs. Walz when Tim Walz was picked? And Kamala was so wise, wasn't she, to pick this man? Kamala was so wise. Remember, he gave white guys permission to vote for a black woman. He gave you permission. Yes, he was the answer. Yes, you can vote for a black woman, America, because all you think about is things in race and sexuality. I'm the white guy that gives you permission. I'm the guy, I'm the bro. So Kamala's wisdom was so awesome. She's so brilliant to pick Tim Walz. Imagine if she was our president. Mrs. Walz, you remember what she said at one of these rallies? Listen to this poor fool. Here she was back then.
You should be with me and practice with me. What are we going to do? We're going to turn the page. Oh, pretty good. Do it again. We're going to turn the page. And we're going to turn the page. All right, so I'm going to be watching you.
This is she's freaking crazy like him. These people are nuts. I don't care if I disagree with their policies. These people are freaking nuts. This woman was the one who said, I love, on the nights of the riots in Minneapolis for St. George Floyd, blessed be his name, who died in the custody of Minneapolis police, who died from a drug overdose while in the custody of Minneapolis police. She said that when the riots were happening that she opened up her windows, as you recall probably, right? And she loved to smell the tires burning. She loved it. These people are not right. They are not right.
Because when I see Wisconsin, I'm watching nationally on TV because this is a pretty important place, and Minnesota helped you practice with this. You just show me this. Turn the page, right? Turn the page. And you know what else that looks like?
To think this idiot could have been the second lady of the United States of America. Wow, did we dodge a massive bullet. A little bit on that. Tampon Tim's final humiliation from the Daily Mail. Walz unraveling with excruciating gaffes, shameless excuses, and a calamitous VP cameo. What else? Amy Klobuchar. If you ever watch her on TV, watch this. I don't have massive amount of hair, but hold on. Okay, if I'm Amy Klobuchar, when Amy Klobuchar is just talking, she'll be shaking. Her hair will be like shaking. Just watch. Anytime you watch, next time you see Amy Klobuchar on TV, her hair comes out more like that. It's more bouffant because she's a woman, and her hair, just watch it. It shakes. It shakes. She's like, as she's talking, she's shaking. That's true. That's just how she rolls. I've been watching it for years. Like, what the heck's wrong with you? Do you have a medical condition? Just watch her hair. It just vibrates. I think because she's shaking or something when she talks. It's really bizarro. She was the Hennepin County prosecutor, district attorney, if you will, of Hennepin County, which is Minneapolis, when I was a talk show host there. And boy, was she a nutbag then. But she's now mulling a campaign to replace Walz as governor. So we'll see if that happens. There's some people saying that she'll win governor and then appoint Tim Walz as senator. That's not going to happen, man. Mr. Fraud. Mr. Fraud, that's his new name. ICE is now had just sent. Thank you, God. ICE sent 2,000 agents, ICE agents, and Border Patrol. They just searched 2,000 in Minnesota, Minneapolis, St. Paul. Take those bleeps down, man. Take them down. That could include 1,500 deportation officers, and 600 investigative agents to address fraud and illegal immigration. It would represent one of the largest immigration operations in the administration has undertaken since Trump took office. Yes! Take them down. This is great. HHS Deputy Secretary Jim O'Neill tweets this out. I can confirm public speculation that Ambassador Abubakar Dahir Osman, permanent representative of Somalia to the UN and president of the Security Council of the UN, is in fact associated with Progressive Healthcare Services, a home health agency in Cincinnati. HHS has previously taken action against Progressive in response to a conviction for Medicaid fraud. More to come. I am in charge of the UN now. You will listen to me. Click, click, click. I am a director. Tahir Osman. Click, click, click. Fraud. You know that Hilton, under the banner Hampton Inn in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area, refused ICE agents, refused Border Patrol agents, DHS agents. You know that Hilton came out and said, that's unacceptable, we welcome everybody. You know that the hotel, the Hampton Inn, in question in Minneapolis-St. Paul initially said, we welcome everybody. That's not true. You know that Nick Sorter, a journalist, went there and said he wanted to book some rooms for DHS, for ICE, and he was told, it's all on camera, it's on his Twitter feed, I retweeted it. He said it's for ICE and DHS, and the employee said, nope, can't allow it. That's after they said, we welcome everybody. That hotel chain is rabidly pro-illegal, hates enforcement of our illegal immigration, and so Hilton then, once that happened, Hilton saw the video. They then shut it down. They said excommunicated. He's no longer that Hampton Inn is not available anywhere on Hilton's site, and that's it. And they better damn well take him off their list officially 100%. They better go up on that freaking building and rip off that Hampton Inn sign within 24, 48 hours, or I'm not going to believe it. Bill Ackman, the billionaire hedge fund guy, tweeted, if the hotel owner lied in their statement and the below allegations confirmed, Hilton Corporate could terminate the hotel owner's franchise. They better. And by the way, this is from, I think, Fox News. The Fox News Digital learned that the hotel accommodated federal agents for roughly 130 total nights last year. So this is going to hurt their pocketbook nice, because every federal, the OMB, the Office of Budget Management, came out and they said that it's over. There's not going to be any federal employee, any government employee with the federal government ever staying at that place again. Good. So they had 130 nights last year. That's going to cost them. That's good. I'm very glad. And, the left will probably say, well, I love this place. We're going to go there. No problem. They are not going to outnumber us. The other thing is, no leftist is going to travel to Minneapolis just to go to that one hotel. You would have to have local people go to the hotel that are leftist, but how many of them are going to spend money when they live right there? Not many at all. The problem is this is going to screw them badly, and I hope it does. And that company, Everpeak, owns a bunch. Man, if I were you, I would look up, I would find out. I always stay at a certain franchise place. It's not Hilton. Their point system is garbage. It sucks. Oh, I remember thinking one day, I got 100,000 points. Wow, what will that get me? And I look it up. Oh, half of a credit to stay at one of the places you have on the road where it's free breakfast in the morning. Not even a full, it's like half the amount of points. 100,000 some point. Kiss my butt. You're gone. You're out of here, Hilton. Okay. Yes, I'm telling you how I really feel. Postal workers. Remember if you're in DFW, remember we lost a postal worker, Eugene Gates Jr. He collapsed on the job, scorching North Texas summer day. This is in the Dallas Morning News. Postal workers waiting on heat protection more than 2 years after the Dallas carrier's death. I call BS on this to the umpteenth degree. I did before. I'm going to do it again. Because, first of all, look, I mow my lawn. I love my lawn. It's my passion, right? It's my hobby. For years, my parents and my brother said, get a hobby. God blessed me with a really nice lawn at this house, and I take care of it to the umpteenth. I love it. It's my hobby. I finally have a hobby that's not in radio or anything to do with my job or social media or pet podcasting. I go out there. It doesn't matter what. It's 105, 107. Doesn't matter. What I do is I hydrate. I drink a lot of water. I drink my electrolytes. And then I go out there and I kick some butt and take some names. And yes, I'll take a break every 45 minutes, whatever it is. When I start feeling a little woozy, I come in, have chug 24 ounces of water, then go back out there. So this is total BS. I know it sucks, but let's just start this first. What happened in the 1930s for postal workers? What happened in the 1940s? What happened in the 1970s? What happened in the 1980s or the 1990s or 2010 or 2000s? Man, I moved to Dallas-Fort Worth in 2010. Let me tell you something. It was the hottest one on summer for a long, long time. It wasn't the greatest ever, but we had 60-plus days. We had like 62 days or 68 days of 100-degree plus. And let me tell you something. Ain't no one dying at that time. No one died as far as postal workers. That wasn't in the news. Never saw it. So now we're going to say we have to do some alarming stuff. There are people that work on roofs in Dallas-Fort Worth. There are people that work on construction in Dallas-Fort Worth. I mean, concrete, you name it. So here's from the Dallas Morning News with that. More than 2 years after a postal worker died from heat exposure on the job, he did not die from heat exposure. He died from heat and heart disease. Heart disease. Does heat outside cause heart disease? Explain that one to me. And I'm not trying to attack the woman who lost her husband, but this is total BS. I'm calling BS on it. Letter carriers say the U.S. Postal Service has yet to take steps required to fully protect them from when the temperature and humidity soar. Unions are seeking stuff to include clear authority for carriers to pause work during dangerous heat. Are we just not going to have mail on hot days? It also sharpened demands for national standard protecting all workers who toil in high heat. The 66-year-old man who passed away, sadly, collapsed that day while delivering mail on his Lakewood route in Dallas. The heat index, see, they give you the heat index. I'm going to tell you right now, you know this if you listen to me with regularity for years. The heat index, the feels like, throw that in the freaking trash. Wind chill. They say that in Chicago, too. I was just there 3-4 weeks ago visiting folks. It was really cold. But it feels like that, I could scream, that is the biggest fraud there ever is and ever was. There's no feels like. What's the freaking temperature, man? If it's sunny out, I know it's worse. If it's cloudy out, I know it's better. If it's breezy, I know it's better. Don't tell me the feel like. Don't tell me the wind chill. What is the freaking temperature? So they have to lie and skew it to you by saying, well, the heat index was 113 degrees. That's not the freaking temperature. What's the temperature? Are you afraid to tell me the temperature? Was it so low that it's irrelevant? Is that why you give me the heat index? I don't need the heat index. The actual temperature, what was it, 100? 99? Who knows? They don't want you to know because it's not high enough to shock you. Heat index was 113 degree. An autopsy found he died from the heat and heart disease. So the heat caused heart disease in one day. Again, it's sad, but the idea that postal workers shouldn't have to work outside, and I know there's issues. I know you like better, but who was it? The guys, I think UPS guys don't have air conditioning. Amazon, I think some do or most do. I don't know. Anyway, carriers are reminded to stay hydrated. This is why it's your job to do this. Stay hydrated, and told immediately to contact 911 if they experience symptoms of heat exhaustion. Now, I'm sorry this man passed away, but he should have paused. He should have taken a break. He should have called 911. He should have drank more fluids. And heart disease throws it all in the trash. I mean, heart disease is horrible, but, dude, that's not... The heat didn't cause your heart disease, okay? Let's be honest. His death also resurfaced for local carriers in the summer of 2025. Oh, I remember this. When another man, Jacob Taylor, a Dallas letter carrier, collapsed on his route at a day the temperatures were in the 90s. So are we going to stop delivering mail in the freaking 90s? That is every other day here for 5 months. Actually, that's almost every day for 5 months straight here. So, anyways, he died in 2025, this man. An autopsy later indicated that he didn't die from heat stroke. He died of natural causes unrelated to heat exposure. But let's still use that too. Remember that? They used that. Oh, yeah. This woman, the widow, who lost her husband, the guy who, had heart disease. Her husband worked for the Postal Service for more than 35 years. So here's my other thing too. How did he work for 35 freaking years as a postal worker and not die? Because you and I know the hot temperatures as I said, in 2010 were way worse than in 2023, 2022, 2024. 2010 was insane. That was like the first year I moved here, or the second year I moved here. I can't remember which one it was, and I just couldn't believe how bad and how long and punishing it was. That was a bad year. Why didn't he die then? I wish he didn't die, but why did he die then? Why didn't he? Okay. A little bit more. This is a longer one. What are we at here? Holy cow, I'm in an hour. Wow. Can I get a medal? Breathtaking hypocrisy of woke NYC mayoral aide who says whites owning homes is racist as her $1.4 million secret is laid bare. So this Mandami has hired so many of these just absolute fools and tools, hyper leftist, communist fools, and that's fine. That's what they elected. I'm not acting outraged. This is what they voted in for. You got it. You got this fool. Here she is, C. Weaver, the New York City tenant advocate, telling you about owning a house is white supremacy.
I think the reality is that for centuries we've really treated property as an individualized good and not a collective good, and we are going to transitioning to treating it as a collective good and towards a model of shared equity will require that we think about it differently, and it will mean that families, especially white families, but some POC families who are homeowners as
POC, people of color families. I mean, this woman's mentally ill.
Well, are going to have a different relationship to property than the one that we currently have.
You're going to have a different relationship to property. In other words, we're going to take it away from you, and it's white supremacy. Watch this, though. Her mom lives in a $1.4 million home in Nashville, and is a professor at Vanderbilt. She doesn't say anything about her wealthy mom, does she? Nothing about her wealthy mom and her wealthy house. Will she take away her house? Will she surrender her house? And she's a white supremacist, apparently. This from a piece in the Atlantic from author Arthur Brooks. 41% of Democrat college students, listen to this, 41% of Democrat college students would not support a Republican-run business. 41% of Democrat college students wouldn't support a Republican-run business. 37% wouldn't be friends with a Republican. 30% would not work for one. Okay, well, what about the Republican kids? What do they say? It's way lower. It goes from 41, 37, and 30 down to 7, 5, and 7. Who has the problem? Who's the one that has a serious problem? It's the left, not the right. Dallas Landmark Commission, rainbow-colored steps at Oak Lawn Church can stay. They're like celebrating the fact that this church, which I guess is it's a private property, and they're mad because this church, it's the Gayborhood Church, they worship LGBTQ. They worship a false god. They worship false gods. They worship the culture, not the Bible, and not God. So they're all celebrating that the Dallas Landmark Commission says, sure, you can have rainbow steps. It's your own freaking church anyways. So they're like, yay, victory. No, your sidewalk or your crosswalk isn't rainbow anymore, thanks to our governor. Anyways, whatever, do what you want on your church steps. But we know it's clear. You don't worship God, you worship LGBTQ. You go where the culture goes, not where God goes. That's a you problem. This is hard for me to say. I can't believe this. Texas rapper Z the Wizard identified as fatality in Dallas club shootout. Z the Wizard. I can't believe they got Z the Wizard. Oh my gosh. I can't believe they got him. Z! Oh, did you see this? The mentally ill man who says he's a woman busted the windows out of J.D. Vance's house. They weren't there, but they were there over the weekend. So you have a man who comes from wealthy parents, doctor, urologist, and such, who's given thousands of dollars to Cackling Kamala and her campaign. A man named William DeFore who claims he's a woman and gets mad. He told the people when they arrested him, they said, "Call me a woman." They're like, "You're a man." So he's a transgender terrorist, another one. And his father's a surgeon, Democrat donor. And this mentally ill transgender, this man who says he's a woman, was previously arrested for other crimes related to vandalism in April, sentenced to treatment for mental health facility. Yes, he calls himself she, her pronouns. Dad works for Cincinnati's Children's Hospital, has made several donations to the Democrats in the past. A Facebook account with the name Julia, I think that's the transgender guy's name, has liked multiple pages, including Heartland Trans Wellness. There you go. You're doing very well. Very, very well. He was arrested by Secret Service, allegedly vandalizing a Secret Service car, the driveway of Vance's Ohio home, as well as smashing multiple windows. Enjoy your stay in jail, Mr. Transgender man. U-Haul's growth index. Texas back on top as the number one state to move to. California is the number one state they're moving from. Are you surprised?